Hey guys, welcome back. This time I am recreating my girl Aerith's white dress that she wears when she sings No Promises to Keep. Since I got tickets to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth orchestra concert, I knew I had to recreate it to wear it to the concert. I have all the fabrics I'm going to need for this dress. Okay, so at the vintage market, I found this beautiful bustier. It's a really low cut in the back, so I was glad I could find a bustier to build this dress off of so I can have the support I need. I have the gold trim that goes along the bodice. I have a few different types of drapey white fabric, and it is hard to find a fabric that's not sheer, especially if it's a white, thin. So I have a few different ones to choose from. Then I bought this beautiful jacquard. This isn't a jacquard. Anyways, it's got this beautiful design, and on the sides of her dress she has this damask design. So I'm going to cut this out and fuse it to the dress using double-sided fusible. It's my first time using this, so I'm excited to do that. This is for another project. Let's get started. I start with the lining by draping it on the dress form. I get my darts pinned and use the outline of the bustier as my guide. I go ahead and sew the darts on the front and move on to draping the back of the lining. For the outermost layer, I pin tiny sunray pleats along the waistline that fan out towards the bust and iron them to hold their shape. I try my best to get both sides symmetrical. Then I cut away the excess fabric along the neckline. I make similar pleats on the back and baste stitch them down on the waistline. Now I have to sew the sides together, and I decided to go with French seams. You first sew the wrong sides together, then fold the fabric along the seam so the raw edge is enclosed with the right sides together. This is my favorite way to finish sheer fabrics. Next, I sew the lining and outside together at the bodice neckline. Once it's pressed, then I go back and sew an understitch with the seam allowance pressed towards the lining. I try it on to check the fit and decide to go ahead and install the zipper. With invisible zippers, you should always press the teeth open to help get the stitches as close to the teeth as possible, so it will actually be invisible. I sew it with my zipper foot until the end where I marked it with a pin. And go ahead and do it to the other side as well. Then I sew the rest of the back seam closed from the end of the zipper all the way down to the hem. I cut out the brocade design and use the outline to cut the fusible. With a spray bottle and lots of steam, I press it to fuse it with the sides of the skirt. This took forever! I pin the gold trim along the neckline and snip some of the lace to help it overlap itself so it stays flat. Then I have to hand stitch all of this down to the bodice. For the belt, I glued on a bunch of flowers and leaves to this kind of macrame trim. It worked out pretty well. And then I just sewed the ends to the sash so we have the tie in the back. And then I will sort of work this into a bow where that sash is in the back. I wore this cosplay to Anime Weekend Atlanta and had a blast, even though it was freezing outside. I loved how it turned out, but would like to spend more time refining that wig. I did not wear the wig to the concert, but I was super impressed by the show and really enjoyed it. I would definitely go again, it was so much fun! Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate you. See you next time!